So, welcome back to Tea with the Queens. I'm excited. I'm always excited for a new interview, to meet someone, to get to know someone, to share what it is that they do with you all. So, this is another opportunity for me to be excited. And today I have Jay Lumen. She's an empowerment transformational life coach. So, we're going to get into what she does. We're going to learn a little bit about her. And I'm sure because she's a transformational coach, she's going to have something that she's going to leave us with to empower us. So without further ado, I'm going to bring up Miss Jay Lumen. Hello.
Hi, Millicent. How are you?
I'm good. Welcome to Tea with the Queens.
Thanks for having me.
And
I'm
I didn't
excited to
even
be
say
here.
it's the transformation, it's empowerment, and it's acquiring. So that's basically what T stands for. We talk about the transformation of things, and we empower, in that, and then we also encourage them to acquire those skills or those lessons that they've learned during this time, and apply them to their life or to their business. So that's Tea with the Queens. So I would like to know a little bit about who Jay Lumen is. Did I say your last name right? Right?
Yes, absolutely.
Okay.
'Cause
Okay.
it's like a light bulb. So
Okay.
lumen lights, and we all deserve to live our life with a lot of light.
Yes.
So, but a lot of times it's hard to. A lot of times we get trapped into our life, and
Yes.
all we can see is the tunnel, and it's just one thing after another. Life gets busy, and it's like, oh, we just go from one thing to the next. And um, a lot of times we don't stop to give ourselves credit for what we've done.
Right. Oh God, yes. That is so hard to do sometimes, to really applaud yourself, to pat yourself on the back about something that you've done. We
It is
don't. Maybe we feel like it's not proper.
either not proper or not important enough.
Yeah. I like what you said. I think that's it right there. I really
Well,
do.
because there's so many things that we do. Just life is random and unexpected. We like to think we're in control of our lives, but so much of what happens during a day is random, unexpected, unplanned. And it's just a matter of, a lot of times we're just like, oh, now I have to deal with this. And so we deal with it and we quickly, because we have to move on to the next thing.
Right.
But every little thing that we do is important, and we don't give ourselves enough credit for stuff that we've done. And just being able to handle stuff on the fly, or navigate a situation, or whatever. And
Yeah.
so it's just about shifting the perspective on what we've done, and then being able to leverage that to do new things and try new challenges, and
Right.
just kind of see the life that my company is the Unknown Bucketlist. And so part of that is
Okay.
uncovering the bucket list that you've already been living.
Yes.
Because everybody knows what a bucket list is, all the
Yeah.
things that you want to do before
Yeah.
your time is up. You have all these dreams and goals that you want to do, but for many of us, those are always going to be dreams, and we might not be able to do all the things that are on our bucket list. However, there's an entire bucket list of life that each of us has already been living,
Yes.
and we're not giving ourselves credit for it.
Yeah. And that's good. And you said something too, when the small things, and how the small things add up to what you really want to do, and not don't despite the small things. They
Exactly.
build, they build. And when you said that, I'm like, man, that is so true. Because it's small, we don't pay attention to it, or we don't give it any credit.
Hmm.
Small things build into big things. Sometimes that's taking small bites and chunks to build something that's you know it's going to be stable. So do not despise small beginnings.
No, definitely don't overlook those small achievements. And just going off of what you were just saying, building small things build. If you were standing at the bank of a river, it doesn't have to be a huge river, but if you were standing at the bank of a river and you wanted to get to the other side, if you started throwing little stones, just little ones, one at a time, every day, just sprinkle a few more. At first it doesn't seem like it's anything,
Right.
but over time, those little stones that you've been dropping will build up, and eventually you can build yourself a bridge across the river, and then you can find yourself a little freedom
Exactly.
to go
Yes.
to the other side. And it's
Yes.
all done with just little small stones, but they build up. And those are the things that we don't that we're overlooking, that we don't feel are important enough, and that we're not giving ourselves credit for. Just by compiling all of those things and looking back at what we've accomplished in our own life and shifting the perspective on that, then you can see how you can either build that bridge or leverage it to go on and create something bigger and achieve something new, or anything.
But you know what? When you was talking again, what came to my mind was when we're building and we're starting small. The motivation in that is seeing, how it's building and how we're getting closer and closer to our goal. The goal was to throw the pebbles so that you can create the bridge to get over. So that you start to see that bridge come to light. You say, "Wow, okay, this is really working." Then you just
Yes.
continue to do it, and you don't get discouraged. So it's kind of like a treat along the way. You see what you're doing, you see that you're building, but
Mhm.
eventually, because you see how things are going, you're going to get to the goal. So it's good, like you say. And then I look at it too as a way of rewarding yourself along the way. A lot of times we just want to get to the goal, just
Yes.
get there. But sometimes we have to celebrate along the way, and that's when you see the pebbles, man. I could see it happening. Let's celebrate. Now keep going, keep going. So yeah, that's
Exactly.
a good way to look at that. That's good. That's real good. We just started, and I'm like, that's real good.
Well,
And that's
thank
the
you.
bucket list.
Well, so the unknown bucket list is, I'll go back a little bit and to how that even came about. So a few years ago, I had been in I was in the wrong relationship. It wasn't a physically abusive relationship. It was just the wrong one. Had the man asked me to marry him, I would have said no. So clearly that's a sign that it's the wrong relationship, right? But because I was in the wrong relationship, I also felt like I was trapped in the job, which was not a good fit for me either. But because of my circumstances, he was unemployed. I didn't feel like I could put him on the street, but I couldn't quit the job that I hated. And so it was just, I felt like I was, when the washing machine gets stuck on agitate.
Yes.
So I just kind of felt like I was stuck in agitate, wrong job, wrong relationship. And I honestly couldn't see a way out, because all I could see were the limitations of why I had to stay exactly where I was.
Yes.
And eventually I figured out that, well, I can pay for him to leave and go live with his family. And so I moved him away. But I only solved half the problem. The other half was that I was unhappy with my job and I wanted something new. Except I didn't know what I wanted, so I convinced myself that I could tolerate the job that I was wanting to quit. And that was actually the worst thing I could have done, because a couple months later, he showed up at my door, and then I ended with his arrest for attempted murder.
Oh. Oh wow.
Mine.
Wow. See.
So my inaction, because I didn't know what I wanted, so my inaction actually caught all the problems that I was trying to avoid, like trying to figure out where to go live, a new place to live, or find a new job, or anything like that. All the problems I thought I was avoiding eventually became my problems anyway, because I I had to stay kind of where I was until we went through the trial and everything like that. Um, but that was the proof that life is short.
Yeah.
And it's we all know it's a cliche saying, but unfortunately, it's true. We really don't know when our last day is going to be, and or when it's going to happen, or how it's going to happen, or anything like that. So that was my wake up call of, I had started to fix my life to make myself a better life, and I quit, is essentially what I did. So I set out to find the best life possible I could live with no regrets, regardless of my means or my circumstances, so that I was living as if life were short and at the same time as if life were long.
Yeah.
So that no matter when my last day came, then I would have been living the best life.
Yeah.
So cut to a couple years later, I'm in a new career, and I was on I was working as a production assistant on a TV show.
Oh,
And
okay.
I
Bernie,
completely
that was
changed my
fun.
life.
I bet that was fun.
But they the show we were filming had to do with carny acts, so like sword swallowers and fire eaters and that kind of entertainment. And the particular guest that we had on that day, the way he raised his money, the way he earned his living was he let people staple money to him, to his body parts.
Oh, okay.
So
That's
we weren't getting much interaction, and our producers said, "Jake, take off your headset and go staple this $5 bill to his butt."
Wow. Mm-hmm.
And so, yeah, it was a little odd. But at the end of the day, I was like, well, I guess I'll check that off my unknown bucket list. Because it's like, that's not anything you would have ever dreamed of doing.
No, that's what I'm saying. That's definitely unknown.
Exactly.
For the moment, bucket list, because I know you was like, what?
I was like, okay. And I mean, I could have said no, but when was I gonna? It was just a weird opportunity, and so I did it. But from then on, it was just kind of like, that was how I started looking at life, was all these little random, unplanned, unexpected, good or bad. That was basically the bucket list of my life, and I could build on them and dream bigger, do bigger. But as life continued to come at me randomly and unexpected, then I had a new way of embracing the unknown.
Right.
So that's how
the bucket list came. So is that a coach? That is a coaching program that you have, or is it the name of your business?
Well, it's the name of the coaching program is the Unknown Bucketlist approach. So
okay.
it's a way of looking at all the stuff that we've done in our past, identifying it to see, because again, we don't give ourselves enough credit for things that we've done.
Right.
And sometimes we don't think we can do hard things. Sometimes we don't think we're allowed to dream big. Right. Although by looking at our past, good and bad, we can see where we've already navigated hard things. Right. We've already done big dreams. Maybe right. Not intentionally, but it was just like, oh, wow, I had the opportunity to do this, and I took it, and I did it. And by leveraging all the things that we've done in our life, then that will open up new doors and new possibilities, and, allow us to make bigger goals, or right. Know that we can do hard things and have the confidence to do it. And
so with that, what made you go into a transformational empowerment coaching? I know that's your program. What made you go into that area?
Well, just because of my past experience. Okay. So because I had felt trapped in the wrong relationship, in the wrong job, and I really couldn't see a way out. And that's, there are many people who get trapped either by their circumstances or their guilt or their doubt, and they just can't see a way out. And right. they just get into that tunnel, and they're like, this is my life. And, we're taught that part of being an adult is that you just suck it up and go on. But we don't have to.
But you know what? And the thing is, with life transformation, what you said, the coaching, that mm-hmm. you said, when we're going through difficult times, especially in relationships is a big part of who we are, because we have relationships with friends, with our family, with co-workers, with, the love of our lives, we think.
Yes.
But it's something that when those relationships, hurt you or they turn on you, mm-hmm. it just seems like you're stuck there. And yes. you don't know how to move past that point. So that transformation is very important. And a lot of times when people hear transformational coach, it's like, well, what am I transferring? What am I transforming into? And I don't
Right.
realize that sometimes it could be something that's hidden that you don't even realize that you're stuck in. And that's
Exactly.
why, you know, you got to really understand what transformation is. And I look at it as if your life is going in a direction that you feel that you don't want to go in that direction, then
Mhm.
maybe, look at some transformation. Maybe you're going in a direction you don't want to go in because of you. Maybe if you look in a certain area, a different approach, then you can get to your goals, a lot quicker or sooner. And what you were saying, we don't know the time when we're here or not going to be here. So it's about the quality of your life, not
Exactly.
so much the quantity, but the quality. You want to have that quality. So you want to make sure that you're going in the direction where you're going to get the most out of life, like you said. So when you do, have to leave here, you've given it your all. You have the best life lived.
Yes.
So yeah, that transformation is very, very important. So when you talk about transformation and
Mhm.
empowerment, is it just in the matter of relationships, or is it in business, or is it different aspects of life?
It can honestly be in any aspect
Right.
of life, because if it's with your career, you don't want to wake up every day and have your stomach turn to knots
Yes.
going to a place that you either the job you don't enjoy, or the people that you're working with you don't enjoy, or nobody deserves to live a life with regret.
Right. I
And I'm sorry.
I said I agree.
Oh.
I agree.
So, and it's just a way of, sometimes we do have to keep the job for a little bit of time, or we have to make especially if it's a family member that maybe we don't exactly jive with, but for the sake of, family members, just kind of making peace with that, and just navigating it to where you're the one who's really deciding how you want to approach the situation, and whether you want to continue at the job, but maybe see if you can move to a different department if it's the people that maybe you like the job but you don't like the people you're working with. So is there a way to do both, to get away from the people but still keep the job? Or is there a way to maybe maneuver it within a family reunion that you can still be at peace and happy with how you are experiencing it, and not miserable or anything like that? And
Right.
it's a hard, for when you're in that situation, it's hard to really see
Right.
a solution. So it just goes back to shifting perspective, and helping people see they've probably already solved a similar problem. They just didn't give themselves credit for it.
Right. Yeah, and that's a lot. Like you said, it's a lot of times we just life. We're just doing life. We just feel like, well, this is what I had to do. But like you said, if you're at a reunion, which is a great, example, and you really have someone you really don't want to be around, you
Hmm.
may have been in past reunions and made the choice and actually had the solution then and didn't even realize it because
Right.
you stayed away. So, like you said, we're empowered to do certain things that we've already been doing. It's just acknowledging and recognizing it now. And the reason why it was so interesting about the family reunion is because I know a family member who thinks that way. Oh, I don't want to see them. I don't have to see them at this reunion. And I'm like, that is so sad, but it's so true. If you're not going to get along, stay away from each other. That's
Exactly.
the best way to put it. But that's a good example. And also too with me, on jobs, I've had jobs where I worked and I loved what I did, but the environment was just so toxic that I just couldn't do it. It's like I wanted to really do the work because I enjoyed what I was doing. I enjoyed working with people. I was
Hmm.
working with adoption, and I was working foster care, and I loved it. I loved to see the faces of the young people getting into
Yeah.
good homes and just being happy. But the staff, it was so hard. What the
Right.
staff was so negative. And it caused me actually to have a medical issue from stress, dealing with that. And I thought that was so unfortunate. And so many people are working jobs that they love the essence of the job.
Mm-hmm.
So my mother used to always tell me when I was younger, when I was looking for work, she said, just remember that it's not going to be the job, it's going to be the people at the job that's going to make it difficult. So that's another thing with transforming my mind and building up that confidence in myself that, you don't have to stay here and take that.
Right.
You might have to move on, but you got to be confident enough to move on and say, if I found this, I can find something else. But you don't have to stay in this. And like you said, sometimes you just got to be in it for the time being.
Mm-hmm.
But always look at a different approach of how to get what you want out of the situation. And if you can't stay there, go.
Yeah.
Like, there's no need to be in, like you say, sick and knots in your stomach and stress. Stress will take you out of here.
Mm-hmm.
It would take you out of here. So always remember, you got the opportunity to, we have the power, and we've been, showing that for years. We just probably never, like you say, we don't recognize the things that we've been doing to get to this point. And another thing I like to say, we've survived 100% of what we've been through.
Exactly.
So we've been doing something.
Mm-hmm.
We've been doing something. So what else do you have going on? Do you have a book or anything that you're working on?
Well, the book is in progress.
Okay.
And it will be examples of different random stories, kind of like the how the Unknown Bucket List got started.
Okay.
And then how I've used that over the years to just kind of expand on a unique way of living, but then incorporate it into how people could translate it. It's my journey, yes, but how people could apply my lessons, my experiences, how they could interpret it and apply it to themselves in a way that makes them happy.
Right.
And just sometimes all you have to do is hear somebody talk about something, and it may not be exactly what you want, but it'll spark something or plant a seed in your brain, and you'll be like, oh, well, I really want to do this. And she's talking about how she did that, and I don't want to do that, but if she did that, I bet I could do this thing over here that I've been wanting to do. And so just a kind of an inspirational type message. Yeah, there's
what's coming. So how long have you been working on it though?
Only this year. It's
okay.
So it's in its rough draft stages, and so I'm hoping that it will be out by next year.
Okay. Oh, well, here. Okay.
It'll be easy to recognize. Everything is all tied into the Unknown Bucket List. So like my social media is all Unknown Bucket List and everything like that.
So yeah. So how can they reach someone reach you on your social media platforms?
Yeah. My Instagram is the Unknown Bucket List. My TikTok is the same, the Unknown Bucket List. I have a Facebook page, also the Unknown Bucket List. My website is undergoing some construction at this time, but it will come up. But an easy way to reach me is just an email, which is info@theunknownbucketlist.com.
Right.
So everything is just Unknown Bucket List. Makes it easy. It's like not,
so everybody's not searching all over. That's something that I'm learning. I got to make myself more accessible. I just like all these different names and everything. I'm like, they probably like, who is this? Oh, that's her. So yeah, I was told that. I didn't listen, but I did it my way.
There's nothing wrong with doing it your way.
Yeah.
And then you'll go through and then maybe you're like, no, I think I'm gonna change and do it that way.
Yeah. And so I'm learning, and I might tweak some things along the way, but I enjoy learning, and I just enjoy the opportunity to learn something, to change something. I enjoy a challenge, so that's how I keep going, and I just like to be creative. So some things may make sense to some, may not make sense at all, but that's okay. But yeah, I like different. I use different, like names for different platforms, but it
Yeah.
all directs back to me. So, but yeah, I was told to keep it, remain consistent, so that your audience will be able to find you. So that is really good. Um, and also too, so they go to your website. That's how they can get to your course.
Right now, I am doing the course just through my email. So
Oh,
if somebody
okay,
wants to,
okay.
since the website is undergoing construction, then
Oh, just the email.
if they just do an email, or they can DM me on any of the platforms. Instagram is probably the easiest, but any of the platforms that send me a DM or anything like that, or info at the unknownbucketlist.com is the email, and I can send them. I have a free self-assessment that I can send
Okay.
them, and then it'll get them started to start recognizing their past achievements.
Yes.
And if somebody wants to move forward from that, or even just discuss the results and see how to implement them into their life, then I do a complimentary call at the end of it. And so I'm more than happy to send anybody, that assessment.
Okay.
And
So they can get this. They can sign up for the assessment through your email or social media.
yeah, it either way, they can either DM me on social
Okay.
media or the email, and I'll send them the assessment. And
Yeah. So if you all take this assessment, it's not going to take anything from you, but it's just going to allow you to realize your unknown bucket list. So info at
the
unknownbucketlist.com.
unknown bucket
The
list.
unknown info at at the unknown bucketlist.com.
Yes.
And the same on social media, the unknown bucket list. So
Mhm.
it's an assessment there, and then you get a chance to have a discovery call with Miss J. Lumen, and she'll be able to explain and share more about the program. And like I said before, let's embrace life. Let's understand that life is about the quality and not so much the quantity, but we want to make sure that we give our all. So I'm thinking about my bucket list. I'm gonna take the assessment, because I'm like, those are the things that I don't know about, and that's why I say I love to learn. I love to
Mhm.
learn things, because that is something I would have never really taken the time out to even discover.
Right.
Just would not have done that. And it's a beautiful thing when you have that opportunity. That's why these platforms are so important to me, because it's the opportunity to learn and to have different perspective of things, and to see the world in a different space. Because we like this, and we may know, like I was explaining before, transformation may just mean this. We hear transformation so much, but it's so much around it, from your relationships to of course, we talked about employment, your job, being able to even transform into your own space as an entrepreneur. All of those things are very, very important, and that's a part of transformation. And it's also a part of empowerment, which is the T and the E in T. And so now, like I said, we are talking about this, is acquiring those skills. And now that assessment allows you to see where you are. So now that you can start making those moves and those strides in those areas that you realized through the assessment. So
Yes.
yeah, please, take advantage of that opportunity, take advantage of the assessment. And also, we look forward to your book. Wait, do you have a title yet?
Um, I'm I'm sure it will have something unknown bucket list in it,
In
but
it.
I want to get it written first, and then find something catchy that will, the unknown bucket list is enough usually that people are like, what
What is
exactly
it?
is that?
Yes.
But I don't think that is the actual title of the book.
Right. Yeah.
So
Because I mean, I was enlightened by the title of your programming and everything, and I'm like, because like you say, everybody has this bucket list, but we don't ever give ourselves enough credit for what we've already done. So what I,
exactly.
so what I would like to know, if you have anything you would like to leave with us, empowering, and something that we can apply to our lives from
Well,
this
so
conversation.
something that you were just saying is you were talking about how you like to learn.
Yes.
And I'm the same way. I love to learn. Um, a lot of people are afraid to learn new things because they're afraid to fail.
Yes.
And part of the unknown bucket list is that you learn that there's you can never fail again. And the reason that you can never fail again is because anytime you try and do something, it's not a failure. You just didn't get the outcome you were expecting.
Yes.
So then you can either, now if you're trying to hit a specific target or make a certain goal, then you can evaluate, adjust, and go again. Or you might discover that you find something better that you like. And so now you pivot direction. Okay. Well, actually, where I was going with that is that a perfect example of of failure is just getting an outcome that you didn't expect. So Spencer Silver is a perfect example of a failure that's really not a failure, because he was a chemist and he had a goal of creating the world's strongest adhesive. And by all definitions, he failed because he did not create the world's strongest adhesive. However, what he did create is the adhesive that we all know is on the back of every Post-it note.
Oh, okay. Yeah. That wasn't the strongest, but yes, it was still relevant.
No, exactly. So his failure created like a $5 billion industry. So that's, I like to use his story as a, how you can have a goal and you might think that, oh, well, I failed. He didn't fail. He just got a different outcome than what he was expecting. And that was a massive, that was a massive success, actually.
Very massive. So that's a strong, that is a strong, um where I'm looking for, that is a strong, I'm trying to find the word. It is slipping me. When you deliver to us, I can't think of the word. The encouragement was, that was a true, strong encouragement. I don't know where my brain is right now. Why can I think of that word? But you poured into us a very strong example, and we could take that example to know that when we strike out to do something and we strive to do something, don't underestimate your abilities. Do not underestimate your ideas. Don't
Exactly.
underestimate. Don't even underestimate the reaction or the result, because you never know. Like you said, those pebbles, you just never know. That could be, just the beginning of something that you're building, and next thing you know, you got a whole bridge or you got a whole $1 billion company. So
Exactly. It's a
never,
matter of perspective. You
yeah,
just shift the perspective and then you're like,
and go from there.
oh,
So that's what we the unknown bucket list. So
mhm,
that's one of those things. Never underestimate the small beginnings. Always keep striving and keep pushing towards your goal, because eventually, before you know it, you have built the way along the way to get to where you need to be. Celebrate your small accomplishments along the way. Do not despise small beginnings, and also remember that something that may seem like a bad invention may end up being a $1 billion company.
exactly.
$1 billion idea. So, like you said, there is no such thing as failure.
Mm-mm.
Just a different outcome than expected. But
Yes,
that different outcome, and that's a good thing. That's the whole nother conversation there. A different outcome than expected. But how, do you throw that outcome away, or do you say, wasn't expecting that? So maybe I can dive into that and see how I can turn that, what you think of as a no, into a yes. So,
exactly.
oh,
People
that's
do it
very.
with cooking all the time.
I know. Yes, I do that. I mean, I even do that with finances. Like, that's not going to work. But how can I make this work? How can I
Mhm.
turn that no into a yes? So sometimes
Exactly.
I sit down and say, okay, I messed up here, but got to get back on track. So, but that is so. I mean, that is so good, and I know I learned a lot today.
Oh,
I really did, and I hope that you had a good time with us and just
I
share
did.
and I really look forward to that assessment because I really do. This is something that's new to me, and I've not heard of that before. And I believe that that's going to be a great activity. And also, what I would like to do, with your permission, is also share that with, you know, your flyer where they can, you know, about the assessment and
Sure,
being able to get that, yeah,
I
so
can
that they,
send you a link. Hmm.
yeah, a link to the assessment, because
Yeah,
I think that that would be great. And this because this is supposed to be, this is the fun part of things. This
yes,
is the adventurous part of things. It doesn't have to be always, you know, this transformation doesn't always have to be from something that's so tragic. So this is the fun part. We get to get that unknown bucket list, to be able to say, oh, okay, or even to give you a bucket list and do some things that you probably never would have thought of. Just say, you know what, this is so out of my character, but this is all the fun stuff. This is the good place to be.
it
So
is the fun stuff. And
yeah,
just kind of jumping off of that, you know, so many of us, it, we did things when we were kids that just brought us joy, and we didn't overthink it. We just did it. And
yeah,
then now that we're an adult, it's like, oh, well, you can't do that because you're older or you know better. Who says?
right,
Why can we not go climb a tree? I mean,
exactly.
we might not want to fall out of the tree, but
Yeah. But I mean, we never give ourselves a chance. Or who, like me, you know, go put on some roller skates and go and skate through the, you know, neighborhood. I used to
exactly.
do that as a child. I love roller skate, but
Yeah.
why haven't I done that? Why won't I go? That's relaxing. Why won't I go and just go roller skating?
And go have some fun. Yeah.
Exactly, because of what, my age, because I'm older. So, you know, another thing, I love to ride a bike. It's difficult to climb on and climb off now, but I love to ride a bike. And sometimes in the neighborhood, I'm a little bashful riding the bike in the neighborhood, but this is teaching me, you know, that's relaxing. And if I enjoy that activity, why am I allowing the surroundings or the atmosphere to change what I desire to do? And that's exactly
Exactly.
what I have. A bike is just sitting out there in the shed, and I haven't ridden it in a few years, but I love to ride.
And when you were a kid, did you just take the bike out and go ride, or did you think about what everybody was going to think before you
I,
went riding?
I took the bike out and went riding, and not only that, had the nerve to try to do some tricks on the bike. I'm not even worried about what nobody would say, just going and just having a good time. And when I
Exactly.
did take the bike out, I will say this: I had a little bit of anxiety, you know, riding the bike in the community, and I was afraid of maybe I might fall or, you know, anything. But once I got going, I had a ball. I just
Yeah.
enjoyed it, and I was just riding and, you know, going here, going there. I just really enjoyed myself. But once I put that bike up, that experience I put up as well, and I didn't give myself a chance to enjoy the experience anymore, like I desired to. So that's very important. That's something that I'm going to pick back up, especially with the summer coming. That's my bucket list to do something. Get back to some things that I enjoy doing, and some of the peaceful things that I enjoy, which is riding the bike or roller skate, even taking a walk. Those are
Exactly.
simple things. And maybe I get to, you know, the hot air balloon or something, something a little more, you know,
Well, and
challenging.
that ties in with, you know, you look at all the little things that you've done,
Yeah.
and you just kind of build them up, and you're like, oh, you know what? I did that. I used to ride a bike. I know how to roller skate. I can go up in that hot air balloon. Yes, I can.
So you never know. Like, you just never know what I may end up doing now. But I
Exactly.
definitely going to take that bike out. I am. This conversation has helped me to get back to something that I love to do and take away the anxiety of doing it. So thank you for that. I'm telling you, this has been eye opening for me and life changing, because you want to enjoy life, and
Yes.
sometimes we, circumstances around us, trials, tribulations, take away that opportunity, and we've all had that. And let's just love life, and let's get back to those things on that bucket list, and let's embrace and applaud ourselves for the unknown things that we've done on that bucket list. So
Exactly. It's been such a pleasure talking to you. This
yes,
has been
it has.
fun.
I really have enjoyed this, and I really have. It's empowering, and I felt that. I really
Good.
do.
I'm excited for you to take your bike out.
I know. Look, and I'm gonna say, I was like, look what I'm doing. I'm taking my bike out. because we're connected now, so I can do that.
Yes, definitely. Now
You
check
know.
check the air in the tires and make sure.
You know what? I definitely have to because I got a pump and it's got the air's because it's been in the shed through the wind. I stay in the Midwest. I
Okay.
stay in the top part of Indiana where it's cold. Right, Chicago. We have some brutal winters,
Are
so
you in
I'm sure.
Gary?
Yeah. Well, Maryville.
Okay.
Yeah, right. Gary, right here, Maryville. Then of course Chicagoland. So
Hmm.
I'm right there. I'm right here, and it gets cold. But so when I go in the shed, no tell it's in there. I know that the tires are flat. I know they are. They're gonna need air, or I'm gonna have to replace the tube or something. But that's just how it is. I should have kept it in here, but that's another thing I had to go through clutter. So I had to declutter and I had to take stuff out of here. So it's all a part of the empowerment and the transformation, ain't it?
It is. It is.
So where are you from?
Um. Well, I grew up as a military kid,
Okay.
and then just because of working in when I was working in film and TV, then I just kind of moved around a lot,
Okay.
and I don't really have a home per
Okay.
se. I'll just decide and it works for me in that I've now been to all 50 states.
Oh wow. Okay.
If I'm working on something remotely, then I'll decide where I want to go and
Oh.
I'll find a little rental. And so like I just spent the last few months um in Arkansas because it was in the path of the eclipse.
Oh. Okay.
So I put myself to where I would be in the path of totality
So that
because I have the freedom to move around
yeah.
and I don't own a home, so I'm going to be renting somewhere. I might as well pick and choose where I want to go.
Exactly. Exactly. You're talking about the bucket list, doing the things. Hey, I am not mad at you. I say go out there and live life like you said. When you leave this world, you're gonna leave this world when you have conquered all those things. No
Yes.
regrets, right? No
Well, and
regrets.
that's the thing is that, when we get to our final time, whether we know it's coming or whether we don't, we would always want more time with our friends or our family, our loved ones,
Right.
pets, family, friends, the ones that we care most and cherish in our life. We'll always want more time with them. But we won't be wanting more time to do the things if we've already been living our life doing the things.
Right. Right. They keep the excitement, keep that door open.
Exactly.
Keep that door open.
Yeah.
And live your life out loud.
Yes.
I love it.
Yes.
Well, thank you so much for being here with us. And like I say, I look forward to the assessment. I'm gonna share that link for the assessment. Take the assessment, you guys. I'm telling you, just you never know. It was life changing for me, and I have yet to even find out what that assessment is going to reveal. So, so thank you so much for being with us today, and it's been amazing.
Well, thank you so much for having me. And I look forward to continuing the conversation and we'll
Yes.
after you fill out your assessment, we'll have a call and go through it.
Yeah, we go through it and everything. So, and then when you're ready to get that book out, let's talk about that book.
Sounds
So
great.
get that book out there because I know that it's going to be good.
Yeah.
So this has been awesome.
Thanks so much again for having me. I do appreciate it.
Okay, no problem. Thank you for even accepting the invitation.
Yeah, no,
So
it's
this is
fun.
Jay Lumen, everyone, certified life transformational and empowerment coach.